Bungie's famous and infamous for their work with the Halo series and especially Destiny, but they just unveiled their latest gameplay features for Marathon. Now, the title marks the return of one of Bungie's earliest IPs, reimagined for a modern audience. Genre: first-person PvPvE extraction shooter.
Setting:
the abandoned colony of Tau Ceti 4 in the year 2850.
Platforms:
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Windows. Release date: September 23rd, 2025. So Marathon players are going to assume the roles of runners. These are our heroes, these are the characters, and they are cybernetic mercenaries hired to scavenge valuable artifacts and data. Now, the game supports up to 18 players per match, organized into teams of 3 with options for solo or duo play. And the core gameplay loop revolves around collecting loot and extracting. Failure results in the loss of all the stuff and things. Now, combat features both player versus player and player versus environment elements, including AI-controlled enemies and environmental hazards. So at launch, we're going to have 6 characters to actually play with, or runner classes, that will be available, with 4 revealed so far. Locust, an aggressive soldier class suited for direct confrontations. Blackbird specializes in reconnaissance, identifying enemy positions. Glitch focuses on disruption, employing tactics to destabilize opponents. And Void is a stealth-oriented class, utilizing active camouflage and smoke deployment. What we don't have is hands-on experience to actually know how we are going to be utilizing the loot in terms of player power. Is the agency going to be entirely focused on the loot of guns and gunning and the gunplay, or is it going to be more on enhancing your abilities, your character, your runner, and your unique role inside of the team, of the squad? Personally, I think this is a great opportunity for customization in that respect, where some players who are more about the MOBA-esque abilities and their role performance, they could be able to get augments in that way. But I have a feeling that this game is going to mostly remind of Halo Reach style customization, where it's like, yeah, a character has an ability or two, but for the most part, everybody is going to be having battle rifles, shooting everyone else in the face. So for people who really like hero shooters proper, you might go for a battle royale like Apex, or maybe just continue to play Overwatch and probably Marvel Rivals, but I think that this game could do some really interesting things. I would love to see it. Now, in terms of aesthetics, Marathon features a vibrant neon, industrial aesthetic under the direction of Joseph Cross, whose work is amazing. I'm just fanboying a little bit. This is the first time I've seen the name and I've actually went into the art station, and it's just kind of my vibe. If I could thrift clothes like this, I don't know. It's just incredibly techwear and yet so modern and fresh. His work on Destiny 2 and Dune is famous. Now, the game eschews a traditional single-player campaign, totally focused in favor of evolving storylines influenced by player actions, supposedly, and this is definitely already seen unfolding with their ARGs that they're kind of doing, and it's going to continue to unfold across seasons and events. Yeah, it reminds a lot of Fortnite. An 8-minute animated short directed by Oscar-winning Alberto Mielgo provides a cinematic introduction to the game's lore. It depicts the brutal cycle of death and rebirth experienced by the runners. I think this is where I could spend the most amount of time giving you my thoughts and feelings that are just so rampant running through me on the overall direction of this game, and I'm pretty sure everybody else is equally nerding out about this. It is so influential already. I can see video editors absolutely pulling out all the stops just to sort of celebrate this new aesthetic that's being birthed for this game, and I know personally I'm going to take inspiration from it as well. Still, it's yet to be seen if this game, if this experience, if everything Marathon is more style or substance. So yeah, on that note, let's talk about the community reception. Now, the reveal of Marathon elicited mixed reactions from the gaming community. So while the art style and gunplay have been praised, it's very clear, it's obvious, and definitely coming from Destiny and Halo acclaim, probably gonna feel good, it's probably gonna look good, probably gonna play good. There are several concerns that have been raised across the internet everywhere. Customization in general. Players have expressed a desire for more character customization options, feeling like the predefined runner classes might limit personal expression, as well as just overall not be as inclusive of emergent mechanics as maybe some competing titles. The monetization model also, the decision to release Marathon as a premium title rather than free-to-play, it's kind of been met with skepticism, especially given the prevalence of free-to-play models. I mean, Apex to Marvel, we'll see where it goes. I think it's absolutely going to hinge on those seasonal events, and I'm not sure how they're going to maintain those seasonal events if it is a premium model. We've been here before with Guild Wars 2. Also, I'm pretty sure we got burned by Halo, and debatably a lot of burns with Destiny, so. And a note on gameplay innovation. Some players feel that the game doesn't really offer enough innovation, uniquity, novelty to distinguish itself from other titles, which is quickly becoming a very crowded genre here. The extraction shooters, that is, all the way from Dark and Darker to, Escape from Tarkov and dang, everything in between. There's like dozens of these titles already coming out. There's brand new ones. Wildgate just got announced. Yeah, so basically we have like a Halo extraction shooter. Okay. And then just in general, the reception is, it looks cool, but, and then you insert, well, what happened with Destiny? And then people think that this game is being developed in place of Destiny, but the totally different ecosystems, kind of appeals to different players with a little bit of overlap with the Venn diagram. In general, though, I can definitely see this title being kind of not the premier game, actually, from Destiny, which is weird because this is going to be the one that you have to pay money, it's not free to play. I really wish it was free to play. And then also, yeah, when it comes to the customizations, if there's not a consistent release of new runners and exciting mechanics, especially new loot or a lot of interesting lore drops and bits, new maps, they're going to have to work really hard to make this game worth the while, at least from what I've just seen face value. And that's also what a lot of other people are echoing, is that this game, it looks really neat, but is neat enough when we are flooded with kind of fantastic experiences all around, especially hyper-focused even on extraction shooters. Though, I do think this game has something that no other game has. My first extraction shooter that I ever played was Hunt Showdown, and it was also the first game of that type that I could not properly run. I do think that Marathon will be able to be ran literally on all these consoles, but also on low-end PCs. I think that this is a game that anybody would be able to jump into. Then again, it's not free to play. So, let's talk about alpha tests. A closed alpha test is actually scheduled for April 23rd to May 4th, 2025, limited to North America players aged 18 and over, though. Participants are going to be able to experience 2 maps, Perimeter and Dire Marsh, and 4 runner classes. The test aims to gather feedback on gameplay mechanics, balance, overall player experience, the stuff and things, okay? What I do know is that the main, competitive map, or the map that's probably going to have the most amount of lore driven into it, is not going to be included in this test, which probably makes a lot of sense, especially with the ongoing ARGs and the overall episodic nature of its environmental storytelling, or however they kind of want to do it. I've seen this touched on very lightly in a few extraction shooters. One that is now defunct, Dungeonborn, kind of was interesting, but basically, I am very interested to see how they do the sort of go and collect the super rare legendary items, or the little mini games that happen in the environments. I want to see how they actually utilize that, because this is something that's been teased and growing as a zeitgeist in this micro genre that's been exploding, to be honest. So I think if any company could do it very, very well, it's Bungie. But then again, if any company could completely squander their potential, it's Bungie. I can't say I'm confident that the alpha test is going to give us a real vision of what this game's life cycle is actually going to be like. So yeah, Marathon represents Bungie's ambitions. That's what they do. They're ambitious. They do the big epic stuff. And this is an attempt to reimagine their classic IP for a modern audience. So while the game boasts impressive visuals and a really unique setting, its overall success, I think, it's going to hinge on how well it actually addresses or re-educates the community based on the feedback, so either changing the game or teaching us better about how it's actually to be experienced, and also differentiate itself from the genre that is already kind of getting a little bit overstuffed. Based on the past, what I've seen of Bungie, I've got a feeling that this game is going to be a huge leap forward with something very interesting, and they are going to plant. That's it. And they're going to move in the direction that they want to move in, and it will take an uproarious amount of loud noise from the community to actually make any movement in a direction that we actually want, which is scary because there's a lot of games coming out very shortly that we could easily jump ship to. Well, maybe literally as well with Wildgate and the whole ship jumping mechanics. That seems pretty dope. I don't know, maybe there's room for all these games. I don't know, my backlog isn't big enough. But for real, there's a lot of competition when it comes to these specific games and then just kind of the shooter genre in general, competitive gaming in general. But we'll see how this actually operates with consoles, because I have a feeling that a lot of people who enjoy Warframe, who enjoy Destiny, and enjoy these looter games regardless, they really enjoy the PvE aspects. I think this will be the game where it's like, oh, this is their PvP adjacent kind of thing going on. I don't know, it's PvEVP, but like how much PvE, how much PvP, there's a lot to unravel with that. Of course, that's going to come when we actually get our hands on the game, otherwise it's just speculation. But what can I say? What do I want? What are my hopes and feelings and dreams that I'll shoulder for all of us? Personally, I really do want an experience where there's a lot of hidden loot that can only be accomplished or unlocked or whatever through minigames. And I know that there's going to be key systems. I know that you're going to have to take keys from match to match. And this does remind me a little bit of Dungeonborn. Rest in peace. And so I hope we actually do have like lore unlocks and a lot of different ways of playing the game that might be a little bit more elusive. For me personally, I play Hunt Showdown very PvE. I know it's a PvP game, but I really just take my time and I enjoy the monster hunting. But I think a lot of people are wanting to jump into this because it'll be kind of like legitimate Destiny PvP, which is sort of been underloved in that IP. And overall, I'm kind of just nerding out because this game aesthetically just really reminds me a lot of some early, like 2010s free-to-play games, namely Blacklight Retribution. This seems to be sort of a return to form of boots-on-the-ground gameplay, which we normally either have like full tactical, like simulation-style games from, you know, like PUBG, Escape from Tarkov, and then we just have like Apex, you know, and then we have Marvel Rivals ridiculousness. This might just be somewhere in between that also might be in between for lovers of co-op and team play and PvE, as well as PvP. Maybe it's too ambitious and trying to be everything all at once. Maybe it's going to be really just do its own thing. It's hard to tell. It's all gonna utterly, completely ride on the moment-to-moment gameplay. And then afterwards, because this is still a highly competitive market, how does it actually sustain itself? How does it evolve? And how can we as players express ourselves in this game? What is the depth? What is the art of Marathon? Well, I can't wait to find out. So let me know what you guys think. That's Marathon, the gameplay played in the background. I think it's mostly self-explanatory if you also grew up with Halo, etc. But maybe we could do more videos if this one gets some traction. What do you guys think? Let me know. Much love, keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.